welcome back to the mini series. We're doing part 3 now of why you can't lose weight. My name is Prewitt. I am an online nervous system based and wellness coach. I help high achieving women regulate their body through movement, not restriction, so they can finally feel safe enough to heal, but also lose weight and make their body feel like home again. Today we're looking into a very vital or sometimes an overlooked piece when it comes to the hierarchy of hormonal healing, I guess you can say. So eventually you can lose weight, which is detoxing. So if you do decide to detox, why your liver isn't detoxing and what you can do to enhance it so you can. And we can kind of get down to the root of the issue to, like I said, why you can't lose weight. I feel like if anyone to lose weight or is wanting to lose weight, the very first thing you think of is a detox. Obviously, that makes sense, but it doesn't matter. You can not eat anything. You can do lemon water detoxes. You can do a green juice detox. You can do whatever. If your nervous system is not regulated, you can do all these things, but your body's not going to work. Your liver is just going to be like, well, I don't know what we're doing here, bro. This is a lot going on. We're going to learn about your liver, what it's supposed to do, and what happens when we put stress upon it. The second thing is what emotional stress or just stress in general does to your liver detoxing process physically, why traditional detoxing advice typically backfires or just doesn't work in general, long term, I should say. How to support your liver detoxing system through movement, rhythm, and nourishment, like what you actually put into your body. And then what it actually means to unclog your liver so you can actually see the results that you want, and how to release stored emotions, inflammation, and then what we all want is weight. We want to lose that weight. So if you are bloated, puffy, brain fog, sluggish with energy, you probably heard like, hey, you should probably do a detox, bro. You should probably get on this. We have been taught that detoxing is all about removing things. So removing sugar, removing starches, removing anything like processed foods to just get rid of inflammation. But detoxing isn't really subtraction or removal. It's all about processing. Think of your liver kind of like an air filter. All these things are going to be pushed into the liver, and let's pretend that, because I've done this before, let's pretend you didn't change your air filter and it's been like over a year and your air filter is super dark and it's clogged up. There's nothing's gonna get through it really, and everything's gonna be all backed up. There's gonna be all this junk in the air and you're probably gonna get really bad allergies and get sick. Because I've done that. That's pretty much like what your liver does. If you are in a dysregulated state, or if you're just completely stressed out, your body or your liver is not going to filter properly. Things aren't going to go through it, and things are going to get backed up. That's why you're going to be tired all the time, sluggish. Like I said, energy is depleted. You're going to have tie around your waist. It can pop up as acne too. There's a lot of different things that physically is going to occur in your body because your liver is not being supported. And like I said, it's kind of like that air filter. You need to change the air filter out, but we can't literally like change our liver. We can't boop, new liver. It's more about what can we do to support our liver so it can do what it needs to do so that we can feel good externally, because internally we are good. I have unintentionally detoxed, not realizing what I was doing. I just call it clean eating. And it wasn't until that I was intentional and did a ton of research on protocols on how to detox, I didn't realize that what I was putting into my body, of course it made me feel good, but I still wasn't getting the results that I want. Physically, it felt like I was just putting all this food in my body that I couldn't process. Like it was just sitting in my stomach all the time, and I was in fact just gaining weight because my body in general, my GI tract wasn't digesting what it needed to digest. There's of course a whole other things that were contributing to this, and it wasn't until I got to the fact that, okay, it's stress. Because when I was looking at my blood work, and I'm also a little woohoo, I was looking at reports too. I have this really cool friend. She has this little thing, this little device that you put your hand on. It's this middle thing, and it sends, I'm assuming, an electrical current throughout your body, and it's checking what's going on. And she gives you a report, and I was looking at the report, and it kept on showing up: sleep, stress, GI tract, all these things, da 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 da. And I was just, oh man, I really need to work on my gut And on my liver, I remember my liver was so bad because it goes on a scale of green is good to red it was bad. And I was just like skyrocketing on the red for the liver. And I was like, man, I know I've had some fun in my life, but I didn't think it was that bad. And I was like, okay, I need to address my liver. It doesn't matter if I sleep, if I eat, if I drink, or whatever I was putting into my body. My liver doesn't feel any love from me right now. And I need to work on it based upon what I got from this little report that I did with my friend. And I looked at my blood work because my blood work was crazy too. My thyroid was super, super low and my estrogen was out the roof. At this point, I did get my period back, but I was still having these weird symptoms still. And so when I looked at these two little things, I was like, what's the correlation between the two? And I was sitting back and thinking, there's a lot of things that the human body does. If we take more of Western medicine advice, what does the liver do? Well, like I said, it's a filter. It helps you detox, and my body is not detoxing. So if I look at my blood work, well, if I have high estrogen, that means that, oh, my liver is not processing my estrogen levels, because that's what the body does. Hormonally, the liver helps with a lot of hormonal filtering systems. Brain's not firing right now. Any hoodles. Essentially, your liver, what it does, it helps metabolizes a lot of excess things that you don't need. One of which is estrogen, like I said. It does help convert T4 to T3. It helps with cortisol. Those are the main ones. And there's a lot more, and I can talk more about that too. But if you are still in a stressed state, then your liver is not going to filter these excess things. And that's when these symptoms physically will show up in the body. That's more of a Western, how do you think, a Western thought process when it comes to how can I support my liver function. If we were to take an Eastern perspective, what does the liver do emotionally and spiritually? When it comes to the liver, if we have anger or resentment, the liver is going to be holding and carrying on to those things. I like to take all different approaches. I don't think there's just one way or the other. I think you should look at the body as a whole because we are spiritual beings and emotions are super, super powerful. If, for me, for example, I did have a lot of anger and resentment growing up for a lot of things in my past. And there was still some things that I still haven't, at this time, I didn't really allow myself to feel and allow myself to heal from. And when we carry all this anger and this resentment, it will show up. And in some of the ways that it shows up is it's going to affect your cortisol and it's going to affect your vagus nerve. And those two are kind of cool because they indirectly kind of affect each other, right? So if I'm really stressed out, my cortisol level is going to go up. And my vagus nerve, the dude that starts all the way up here and pretty much goes down to my toes, it's not going to be as strong. And that helps kind of mitigate the stress that I feel in my body. I want my vagus nerve to be strong, but I also want my cortisol levels to be low. I want it to be inversed, like I said. Otherwise, I will be like this, and my liver's a hot mess, and I can't detox, and I can't lose weight. Do you see the trend? I swear there is a trend to this. It's pretty cool, but I will get back to it. The liver doesn't just detoxes. It manages, like I said, inflammation, stress, emotions. And when that gets overwhelmed, that's when symptoms are going to occur. And those symptoms are estrogen dominance, which is what I said before with Western mentality or thinking, fatty liver disease, insulin resistance. Oh, funny. Like we legit were just talking about that last episode. So if you haven't seen last episode, check it out because I dive deeper into insulin resistance. Now back. So insulin resistant, autoimmune flares up. So you can think of PCOS, in my case, hypothyroidism. There's so many different autoimmune diseases that are unnecessary. And fun fact, a lot of women have autoimmune diseases because, if we look back at episode 2, I talk about how women are just naturally more predisposed to carry more stress into their body and to walk around on earth like that. So we're more likely to have an autoimmune disease like men. Isn't that great? Like we just do everything. We just create human beings and men just go out and do their thing and we're just like, and we're all affected. And another thing or another symptom that can occur, skin issues and then just like worsen PMS. symptoms, or if you're premenopausal, those symptoms are not a fun thing to experience because, hello, estrogen dominance, all the other hormones are going to be affected. Like I mentioned before, I had a lot of anger and I had a lot of resentment, and I didn't really realize how much I was carrying at that moment in time. And when I kind of think back and I look at, my childhood till like at this moment in time, I was a pissed off kid. And I remember I'd play sports. I played hockey, and like I guess you can think of like the reinforcer, and my coach would be like, all right, because I only played with dudes, because in California, like hockey, like there's no ice really, and it's hockey. So at the time, it wasn't as popular as for women to play. So it was all guys league. And my coach was like, see that dude right there? Yeah, like hurt him. And I was like, bet. And so I was always in the penalty box all the time. And then when I switched over and started playing hockey in high school and college, I would hit these balls like no other. And my teammate, she was like, yeah, and like I could tell you were mad because you just like bah, bah, just like pounding those balls. And it was funny because like I could hit the balls really hard, but when it came to like a nice easy one, I'd be like, why can't I hit it? Yeah, man, I had a lot of anger. And then that later turned into like, hey, I'm gonna put this anger towards my body in a different way, but when I work out and like physically causing harm to my body through my workouts. Any hoodles, there was some signs. I wasn't paying attention to the signs. I didn't see these signs. I didn't recognize it as, I'm angry. Like I'm the typical angry Black woman. and it's because I didn't have support. I didn't understand. Nobody taught me how to release anger properly. And I was shamed into like, you shouldn't have these feelings and whatnot. So I was just constantly holding things I shouldn't hold on to. And then not only like externally, my world was being affected to how, I did things to myself or I did things to others. But internally it affected me too, to a point where my body just couldn't handle it anymore. And then physically signs were showing up. So as I got older, every time I would go to like the doctor, my hormone levels would get worse and worse. But nobody was really addressing it because they couldn't really understand what was happening with my body. And there's just so much that goes into our medical health system. Like, I'm a woman, and so that's a whole other factor. We, in general, don't get the help that we need, but also I'm a minority, too. I'm a minority woman, and so that's like another level and layer to the medical health field. Nobody got time for this. This is like a whole other tangent I'm going off of, but I think if you're a woman, and especially a woman of color, you understand, like, we don't get the best help and support, and it's not cool, which is why I'm kind of talking about this. What was I going on? Oh yeah, my emotions were being stored, and internally all these things were happening to me. It wasn't until, I actually learned how to release this anger and release this resentment that my body started to calm down. Mentally, I felt a lot better. My heart felt a lot more opened. And yeah, like I said, my hormones started to change, and in general, my life started flourishing. And how can we do this? What are some things that we can do on a daily basis or just in general? Because life, it goes up and down. It's a matter of, hey, how can we support ourselves when things aren't like the best? Here are some things that you can do. I feel like if you're pissed off, if you're angry in general, having an outlet to get rid of those emotions, or just gets a lot of energy that's being stored. So if you can get and release that energy, that's going to help. There's rage rooms. I mean, you can hit a pillow with your fist. I thought that was lame. I personally just want to take a bat and beat, excuse my language, and hurt something. So that's me. There's sports. You can start creating something instead of destroying something. I think that's a beautiful way of looking at it. Another thing I think I did say is breath work. Being intentional with your breathing. You can do box breathing. You can stimulate your vagus nerve. An easy one is just putting your hands into really, really icy cold water for a few minutes, and that will stimulate it. Or if you're in the shower, just put on cold water really quick, just like, shock, but hey, it will help. If you believe in praying and meditation, that's a good one too. And if you want to combine them together, journaling, allowing yourself to feel that anger through rite of expression, and saying, this is yours, whatever higher power, I surrender it to you. You take care of it. That's all yours. Another one is just talking to someone about what's going on in your life, someone that you can trust, because We all have stuff. We all have a past. I definitely have a past. I definitely do. And this is cool because we're animals, right? Like, look at your dog when they get like pissed off, or your cat, or angry. Like, physically, their bodies may shake or do whatever. Like, if you notice that within yourself, allow your body to go through that and to like release it. Just release the energy. All it is, emotions are just energy. It's energy, and they're just at different levels of frequency. If you want to think of it more of in a spiritual instance, true detox doesn't start with elimination. It starts with surrender. So the moment you finally allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, that's when God or your higher power can come in and help you heal, not only emotionally, but also internally, so that you can, get those things that you want. Like, we're not meant to carry all these things on our own. That's why I really like praying, because like I could be like blah, 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 and God can be like, I got you, girl. Thanks for communicating with me. I can take this load off of you. And I'll be like, all right, cool, thanks, man. Research also backs this up too. Any of the things that I've mentioned, so just emotional release, breath work, journaling, spiritual practices, it helps increase your vagal tone, and then it reduces cortisol, so it allows your body to process things more efficiently, which is critical for detoxing and immune balance. Going back to the air filter, what our liver is, it's a filter system. If our liver is backed up, it's not gonna clean things out. It's just gonna be recycled throughout your body. And all these toxins, right, detox, these toxins are just gonna cycle throughout your body, and then eventually you're gonna store it. That's what we don't want. We want to get rid of it. We want to eliminate it. Why does the liver recirculate and then eventually store toxins into our body, or just cause us to quote unquote gain more weight? When your body, or when you are in a stressful state or in fight or flight or dysregulated, your liver is not going to focus on, hey, let's detox, let's filter all these toxins and whatnot. It's only going to focus on survival. So it doesn't care at this point. If you want to lose weight, it's going to do whatever it takes to live in a stressful environment. Going back to what the liver does, which is pretty much it filters like our hormones, cortisol, insulin, thyroid, histamine. It's not going to do that. And so a lot of symptoms are going to occur. Like I said, another one I didn't really talk about before, it's going to affect your monthly cycle. Or if you're premenopausal, it's going to affect, I guess, that season in life for you more negatively than you probably want. Ideally, we're on a monthly cycle and it's consistent. That consistency may be disrupted because the main function of the liver, like I said, it helps prevent estrogen dominance. And as you know, in your monthly cycle, estrogen goes up and it goes down. Same thing with progesterone. So if we're constantly high, our progesterone is not going to be high enough to start a period, or there's so much with the period, man. So much. Any hoodles, we need, in order us to create that uterine lining, in order us to shed that lining and to ultimately end up creating a human being, because that's what our bodies are trying to do, we need these hormonal fluctuations. If we don't have these hormonal fluctuations, and I'm just going to take estrogen and progesterone, our bodies can't do what it's supposed to be doing. And if we're constantly in a high estrogen dominant state, symptoms of PMS is going to be super, super crazy, but you're also not going to probably start a period because we're not creating that uterine lining. Also, your sleep's probably going to be a hot mess too, and cravings are going to be intense. Like, there's just so much that goes along with it. Just another reason why it's important that we help support our liver, because when we think about it, if we're not getting enough sleep and if we're having cravings like crazy, those are like, it's a recipe for disaster, because sleep helps us with our stress levels. And if we are eating like no other, because the cravings are strong, because your body's like, hey, get ready for a baby, but like your progesterone is not at a level where it's like, we can't really create an environment to make a baby. That's where, like I said, weight gain's gonna occur, all these other things. If you think, or if people have told you, oh, your metabolism, you're getting older, it's your metabolism, it just needs to speed up, it's too slow. No, that's not the case. You have an overworked nervous system that just needs to get right back into balance again. The cool thing about our metabolism, it's called metabolic adaptation. Our metabolism can fluctuate, so just because you're getting older doesn't mean your metabolism is going to be slow for the rest of your life. It adapts. Are we putting more carbs, fat, protein in our diet? Are we able to shift from more of a ketogenic state or to a state where we're using more glycogen or more carbs? Like, that's the cool thing about our bodies. It's never really fixed. It always can adapt. Get it? Metabolic adaptation. Cool word. I brought this up before. I've had estrogen dominance in my past. I've talked about the fact that I crashed my hormones because I think I'm smart. One of the things I was put on was progesterone because my body was not making progesterone at all, because I literally was trying to do everything that I could possibly do to fix that. I wasn't understanding what my body actually needed. What was the solution to fix this? I was just popping pills like no other, like it's candy or Tic Tacs. Listen to what my doctor is going to tell me, because the doctor knows everything. Like I said, until I kind of like sit back and got out of hustle mode 24/7 trying to fix myself, I just gave it over to God, kind of like what we talked about in the last part. And he naturally just kind of guided me into like the solutions that I needed to take, and where I got lots of information. I was able to put them together and it makes sense for me. These are the things that helped for me. These are some things that it's also been backed by science that can help for you too. Solutions. So instead of thinking of restriction, removal, biohacking, start just with like restorative things that are going to nourish you and your soul. The easiest one is just focus on your sleep. Like I said, if we're not getting enough sleep, like if you're getting less than 6 hours, okay, rephrase. Lots of people can function with less sleep. So this varies from person to person, but if we think of it more on, it's backed by like a lot of science and a lot of data, especially if you're trying to heal yourself. If you're in a healing state or phase of your life or season, more sleep is better. This is where your body can finally pause and focus on things it needs to focus on to heal you, to eliminate certain things, to repair certain things. So if we're only allowing our body only 5 or 6 hours of sleep, that's not enough. It should be like minimum 7. Boom, get all the sleep that you need. Like if you need like 9 or 10, do it. Like listen to your body, sleep, and sleep on a consistent schedule. Don't do like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed at 8 and then at 2 o'clock in the morning and this and this and that. Your body needs consistency. It needs to know like, hey, she's gonna get tired at this time. She's gonna go to bed. She's gonna wake up at this time. I know I can work hard throughout the day, but I am guaranteed at this time, at this day, I will get sleep and I'm gonna get consistent 7.5 or 9 hours of sleep, whatever it is. Another one that is good, but it might be a little difficult in the beginning, is to understand when you are feeling stressed out or when you're feeling certain emotions, like anger, for example, or resentment. And that just causes you just to pause for a bit. So instead of, and we talked about this before, like distractions. Check out my last video. We talk about this. What was it? Mini episode number 2. That was all about insulin and glucose and that how it affects your weight loss progress. Check it out because I talk more. If we talk about being more present, so think of journaling, which is going to help with your stress. That's going to allow you to be, what do I feel? You can start free journaling, write gibberish. And eventually something's going to come out of it. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, man, I'm pissed off because Susie at the freaking water fountain the other day did this and that. Get it out. Allow yourself to express it so you're not holding on to all these things, so your body can release, so that it can heal when you sleep, so that your liver can do what it wants to do, so that you can lose the weight. Once again, do you see how all of this is correlating and connecting? It starts with one and then it trickles down. It's really, really cool. The next one, sorry men, this is all about women, but track your cycle. So it doesn't matter how old you are, start tracking your cycle. It should be consistent. And whatever consistency means for you, it means for you. It's 28, 32 days, whatever. So that, you know when you might get a little pissy and whatnot, but also how you can support yourself. So if you notice that your days are getting shorter, or they're getting longer, or your PMS symptoms are getting more intense, or anything at all that feels a little funky, you can get the help that you need and you can present it with your doctor, because your doctor, or to someone like me who can kind of help and guide you, because they're going to be like, okay, well, if we're going to take any approach, we need history. We need something to go off. And so if you've been tracking it for at least 3 months, then they'll be like, okay, now I know what to do. Otherwise, you're going to go see someone and they're like, we got to track it. Oh, I don't know. And like the worst thing on earth is when you feel horrible and you're tired and you're exhausted and you hate how you feel and how you look, and someone's like, I can't help you right now. Like, we have to wait it out and see what your body's doing. Like, that is the worst thing on earth, because you're just like, bro, I'm over it. I just want to feel normal and good again. And yeah, so start tracking, because it's going to help your life regardless. You can anticipate your needs more, or if you need help, you can go get the help that you need without wasting time, energy, and money. Moral of the story is your metabolism or your hormones, they are not broken, they are symptoms. And sometimes hormone therapy is a necessity, like you do need it, but also consider it's not the only path that you can take. Like how I mentioned in the beginning, there is Western medicine and there is Eastern medicine. You can take any approach that you want, or you can take both. And you can take advantage of using one, like think of a lever. You can pull on one lever more than the other, but there's fluctuation. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing kind of mentality. Like, I'm going down tangents again. I need to stay in my lane right now because my brain is firing like no other. I'm just going to take the approach right now, pull this lever on Eastern medicine. If you focus on reducing your stress, it's going to affect your body in so many ways, like how I've been talking for the last 2 episodes. But the cool thing about this is you'll notice that if you've been taking more of a Western approach and just going to your doctor and taking meds, they might actually start reducing your medication, because your body's now responding to what you're doing to mitigate your stress levels. And honestly, your doctor probably will have no idea what's occurring. And they're like, we found it. We found the magic dosage. We know exactly what your body... Let them do it. Let them have their little field trip. You know, sometimes doctors have God complexes. Feed it. If that means that you're going to get the help that you need, feed that ego. But like I said, sometimes it's an approach. You take 2 different approaches and, you can get the result that you want. If you regulate your cortisol levels, that's going to help with your HPA axis. Shout out to my very first episode on this mini-series on your nervous system and HPA axis and how it trickles down. And that's going to help with your liver function as well, too, which is going to help with your hormones. So, like I said, thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, all those cool things. If you want to think of like this too, if you want to start approaching this healing journey or just this process of losing weight, you don't heal your hormones or your metabolism through force. You heal it through faith. And one, surrendering, taking action, and letting go, which is surrendering. Repeating. Why detox isn't about extremes. It's about consistency, okay? With movement, with nutrition or nourishment, and in a body that feels safe enough to like let go. It can let go, and in this case for your liver to actually filter and not store. Like I've been saying, a lot of people think that detoxing is all about elimination, sweating it out, going low cal, but do those things work? Yes and no. But if you really want to get to the root of it all, when you're stressed, your liver can't do what it needs to do. The liver, and it's a filter. What goes through that filter in this instance? Blood and oxygen, nutrients, all these things. But when you're in constant stress or in survival mode, or if you're dysregulated, your body is not thinking about filtering things so that you feel better. On the outside and inside, it's bracing for whatever alert or whatever threat it is. So it's going to redirect some of that blood and it's going to put it into your muscles. And your muscles are going to be very, very tight and stressed out. And so if you have tight traps, if your hips are tight, if your lower back is tight, there's so many other places where stress or trauma or emotions are stored physically in our body because we're just like on constant guard being like, man, I need to get ready for action. Like this bear's coming, I'm about to, whatever. It doesn't matter, because if you're so stressed, your body's guarding and it can't do the things that it needs to do to support you. If your body is guarded and your liver can't process things, and the liver and the gut are going to play a role in this too, that means bioflow is going to be reduced. And what bioflow does, it clears out toxins and fat. It helps with fat removal. It breaks down fat. It's going to reduce nutrient delivery to the liver cells as well, because hello, blood it's not getting to the liver as often. That's also going to affect hormone conversion and glucose regulation as well too, which goes back to episode 2 of this cool little mini series. Check it out. Another way you can think of the liver in this instance when it's not getting what it needs: oxygen, nutrients, what was the other one? Oxygen, nutrients, energy, duh, is a kitchen. Let's pretend it's a restaurant, and you can have like the best high quality ingredients, the best like utensils. I don't say chef knife. You have the best chef knife, and you have like a Michelin star chef. You can have all these great things, all these beautiful things, but let's say that chef did not get any sleep. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you put into the kitchen. The chef's gonna be so exhausted, he might chop off his finger because he's like living off 2 hours of sleep. Or like he forgot to add in a certain ingredient because he didn't get enough time in his day to feed himself. Whatever. It's just gonna be a hot mess. You can have the perfect system set up, but if you as a person is not dealing internally what's going on, then your liver's not going to support you in the way that it wants to. Instead of more stress, punishment, or restriction, these are some of the things that you can do to help support your liver so that you can lose the weight that you want. A really easy one that you can do is, example, we drink water. Be conscious or just be aware of the source of water you're getting from and the container that it's in. If you are drinking like water out of tap, well, what's in tap water? There could be chemicals in there. There's definitely a ton of metals. And if your liver is already, if the filter is backed up and you're wanting it to filter more things, it's going to be hard. Try to get really clean filtered water. Another thing is just stay away from plastic. Once again, that's going to be a hard thing for your body to process. You probably want to hold your water in aluminum, but like stainless steel or in glass, something where your body doesn't need to do work. Because when you think about it, if you have a plastic water bottle and just through transportation, or let's say you just left it in your car and it's super hot, well, the plastic's probably going to seep into the water and now you're drinking the water. That's a whole other thing. Another thing is just eat. Feed yourself. Eat consistently. Don't eat like processed foods 24/7, but give your body food it needs so it can give you more energy to do what you want, but so your body can heal. If we can use any detox protocol, they're all going to have really dark green veggies. Those are going to be key. Literally eat the color of the rainbow. Be a vegan or a vegetarian. Like that's what their protocol is. Eat every color. Just have fun with it. Along with not eating processed foods, you probably want to stay away from sugar, alcohol, tobacco, recreational drugs, all those other things that you're just putting more work onto your body that's unnecessary. And then going back to water, because I completely forget, drink a ton because your body needs to flush things out. So bare minimum, like drink half of your body weight in ounces in water. Do more if you're active. Do more if you're trying to detox or eliminate some of these toxins and metals and stored emotions and all these fun jazzy things. When you do eat, a really cool way to help your insulin and glucose levels is to go on a walk after you eat. 10 minutes. It allows your body to actually use the energy that you're putting into itself, but also to help your GI tract move and get along, because if you're just stagnant, then your body's like, well, we're just gonna chill. There's no need to actually use more energy. Another thing you can do too is breath-led movement. A lot of people that I've worked in person with or even online, they have learned, and there's nothing wrong with it, they have learned just to move without thinking, just to go and to not really be present with what they're doing. But like I've mentioned before in the past, this helps if you anything, even like on a run, if you think about it, or biking, if you're rowing, you're purposely breathing out and in. I think swimming is a really good example. We're gonna take swimming. If you go swimming, you're not holding your breath throughout the entire movement, right? You probably do like 1, 2, 3, or breathe in, whatever. I can't swim. I'm a typical black person. Anywho, it's very rhythmical, and it forces you to be more present, more aware, be more mindful of what you're doing and feeling. And so when you're doing more breath-led movement, it's going to help reduce stress levels, and long term, that's what we want, right? We're not trying to create more chaos into the body. And also, when you're more mindful with what you're doing, you're going to get the most out of it. And that's why I created my 7-minute nervous system reset. It's going to help you get into this state of, hey, where do I feel tension in my body? How can I release this? But release it in a nice, calm way. That way my body can reduce the stress. So if I were to work out a little bit more intensely, it's not going to damage me long term. And if you need help with that, like I said, I'm an online coach, and I can definitely lead you and guide you on this magical journey, and I love doing it. But getting back to other things that you can do, like I said, mindfulness is going to be key. And then another thing that goes with your workout, what's going to be important is what you do after your workout as well. One of the things that I like to do is I like to put my feet up against the wall and my butt as close to the edge of the wall as possible, and just allow the blood just to come back to my heart to help circulate things. But it puts me more in a parasympathetic state, which is more of rest and relax after a workout, like I said. And then once my heart rate is lowered enough, that's when I eat. I don't wait. I don't allow my body to quote unquote starve. I give it the energy it needs to replenish the glycogen that I depleted, so that my liver, because remember, the liver, it stores glycogen, like what I mentioned in the previous episode. And so it can do the things it needs to do to help detox. Man, it's so cool how it's all correlating. Science is cool. It took me a long time to put all these things together and to learn from, trial and error and whatnot. But once I finally did and finally moved with purpose, when I finally moved with purpose and was mindful with the things I was doing to my body, things I was thinking and saying and feeling, like everything, right? Acknowledging what I was feeling and expressing. That's when everything started to click. That's when I started to slow down and listen. And instead of punishing myself or pursuing or pushing, I did the complete opposite because I wasn't getting the results that I want. That's when everything started to heal. I started to partner with my body versus punish my body. And yeah, that's when I started seeing results. And cool thing is that's when my clients start seeing results too. You kind of make that mind shift, just flip the switch. As I've been mentioning before, if everything that you've been trying to do is not working, it's not you. Think of it like this. It might just be the approach that you're taking or the process that you have. Discipline's not the problem, because if you're detoxing, you're very disciplined. It's just the approach. Now, since you understand how your hormones and emotions and liver are all connected, now you can understand, or hopefully take an approach that is more partnering with your body, like I have been mentioning. And when your body feels safe, it releases, not from force, but from flow. And like I've been mentioning, maybe weight isn't the problem. Why you're gaining weight, you can't lose weight. Maybe it's just a signal, and you just need to listen to what your body is saying. And that detox, and why isn't your liver detoxing? It's not the issue. Maybe your liver's just been sitting back and waiting, be like, hey bro, change my filter. We are backed up. If you're realizing through this video, like, hey, this is me. I've been detoxing and I don't see results, or my PMS symptoms are crazy. My doctors don't understand why, or my doctors are not listening to me, or I take more of an Eastern approach or a Western approach, but I like to kind of blend them to get whatever the case is. If you are resonating with this message and you want to learn more, or you actually want to see long-lasting, sustainable results without punishing your body, but working with it or partnering with your body, then like I said, check out my 7-minute nervous system reset. Super easy, super cool, super fun. I think it's fun because it's relaxing. And what it is just nervous system safe movement and mobility exercises that's going to help you feel good and help your body release tension, release inflammation, so that you can start feeling good again. So when you are ready to take that leap of faith and maybe start a workout program, you're in a good spot, not only nervous system wise, but physically. You can actually do the workout without causing more damage or more harm, and you're more in tune with your body and how it feels. So when you start pushing and you start putting in the reps, you get more out of those reps because you actually can feel what you're supposed to feel versus just going with the flow and not being intentional. Like I said, if you want all those things, but most importantly, so you can actually achieve the body that you want and lose this weight, feel free. Grab the link below or above. I don't know, man. Just grab it somewhere. It's here. It's for you and it's free. I made it for you because I want you to feel the best that you can and not have to do what I did, which is spend over 5 years and $10,000 and lots of tears and pain and all these things. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Learn from me. Just get this. It's a free gift for you. But in the next episode, we're going to talk about thyroid function and the hormone activator. So you definitely do not want to miss it. If you haven't subscribed, if you found something useful out of it, or if you think my brain is chaotic and amazing and beautiful, do that. And definitely comment. Comment things that you learned. Comment on things that I can improve of. Just literally comment, man. I'm going to take all the stuff. I can't speak. I'm going to take all the stuff and just do a better job. Any rules. Yeah, man. Peace, love, deuces.